Okay, hey everyone. This is Tarrah from Tarrah TV here, where you learn how to get more out of life with tips, inspiration, and guidance on topics related to lifestyle, business, family, and wellness. And this month I have been talking to people that are creating wealth and freedom by starting their online businesses, and they're doing it in their spare time. And last week I interviewed teachers or formally those in the education setting. And next week I'll be interviewing some healthcare workers and former healthcare workers, nurses and such. But this week I'm focusing on military families. And today I have a very special guest. Please welcome my friend Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
And
Thanks
Julie,
for having me.
Julie, we're doing this evening because Julie is in Okinawa. And so we had a bit of a time difference. Imagine that. So what is the time difference, Julie?
So right now it's actually, what day is it? Thursday morning.
We're
at,
Wednesday night.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's what time?
It's 9:30 in the morning.
Okay. So we're 8:30-ish at night. And so, yeah, good time difference.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you joining me. So you have been, you guys are in the Marines, right? Your husband is a Marine.
Mhm.
And we just want to first off say thank you for his service and your service along with him. It is a chore and you are protecting us and we appreciate that. So thank you so much. And I just want you to tell me a little bit about yourself, what you did prior to being a military wife and mom, and what led you to do what you're doing now. Just kind of what's going on with your life and how you ended up in Japan.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm sorry. First, how did we meet?
oh, yes. Well, Tarrah, you and I met at a Shackley conference that was all expenses paid. It was the first Shackley trip that you can earn as a Shackley distributor. And it was so much fun. We had so much fun. And we actually shared a limo.
We did.
So that's how we met. Yeah, met in the airport, shared a limo. You were wearing something like neon green, and I was like, I need to talk to you. You're with Jack.
And you had a little baby with you, and we were able to meet him too, so that was fun.
Yes, it was so much fun. So my husband and I actually met in college when he was in the ROTC then. So we've been together his entire military career pretty much. So after, and I, having grown up in DC, I had big plans to, work in the nonprofit industry and change the world, especially with regards to environmental issues. But then I married my husband and we moved to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, during the recession. And not only are there very few nonprofit organizations in that area in the first place, but none of them were hiring. So it was a huge challenge to find a job there. I did eventually find a job with the organization that I volunteered with for 2 years, but by then we were only going to be there for another year, so I only worked for another year. So then it was time to move. So then we moved to DC, and I was able to find a job with another nonprofit in DC, but then I had my son, my first son, and I decided that I wanted to stay home with him. So for the next 2 years, I was a stay-at-home mom while my husband worked at the Pentagon. And then we moved to Okinawa, Japan. And, I wasn't even going to try to find a job out here. There are so few, and there's so much competition because all of the spouses are applying for all the same jobs. And I knew that even if I did get a job, it wouldn't be in the field that I wanted it to be in, and I would have to be away from my son. And so that's just not what I wanted. And I actually came to find Shackley because my now upline, Sarah, she and I knew each other at Camp Lejeune. We volunteered together in the same office, and we weren't close, but we became Facebook friends. And this was 9 years ago. At the time, it was about 7 years prior, and we didn't really talk at all. She left after we got to know after we just met. We hardly knew each other when she left. But when I moved to Okinawa, my anxiety was through the roof. I knew I wasn't taking care of myself. And I thought to myself, I should reach out to that Sarah girl about that protein she's always talking about. And before I could get up the nerve to do it, because again, it had been a little bit long time since we talked, she actually messaged me just to catch up.
Wow.
It was fortuitous. It was crazy.
For sure.
Um, yeah. And then when I learned more, I loved the protein, I loved all the products. And then as I learned more about the company and I realized that the company has been in the environmental sustainability, like has been a leader in the sustainability movement.
Yeah.
And they do so much, with their nonprofit arm. They have done so much for the world. I realized that this is kind of exactly what I've been looking for my whole adult life. I get to be home with my kid. My job can move with me every time I move. We're getting ready to move in July, and I have no worries about my ability to keep my job, maintain my income. I don't have to worry about all the work that I put into my job over the last 2 years, just going away because I have to pick up and move and quit. I don't have to do any of that. So it really is the perfect fit.
And you're heading back to the States, right? Are you heading back to California?
Yes, we're moving to California.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
And that move is we're only going to be there for a year. So if I didn't have this, I wouldn't even, there's no way I'd find a job and that it would be worth having. So this has really been it's been a real blessing.
Absolutely. Well, you said you you did work in the nonprofit sector. Like, what do you think? Having the ability to do things in the nonprofit world helps you with what you're doing currently and your business as an entrepreneur.
So a lot of people in the nonprofit world, when you're fundraising, it's very similar to sales. Uh-oh. I just heard my baby crying. Hold on, I might have to go get him. He might be a part of the interview.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just take over. No, yeah, take me with you.
Yeah.
There you go.
You're gonna come see baby.
Leo? I haven't seen this baby in 6 months.
This is what happens when you go live and you got a baby in the house.
No,
he's big now. He's good.
Well, while Julie's grabbing Leo, who is just a sweetheart, and I'm sure he's grown since we've seen him, we're talking with Julie Kalmar, and she is a Marine military wife and mom who used to work in the nonprofit marina, and she is now a entrepreneur, has her own health and wellness business, and we're talking about how that is congruent with what she used to do and how it fits into her life as hi buddy as a military
Here he is.
Okinawa, Japan. And so it's actually Thursday morning where they're at, and we just appreciate her being with us to chat a little bit about how this fits into her life. And obviously it has to fit between nap time.
Yes.
Hi, buddy, you getting so big. Hi.
Yeah.
You're
like, what's that?
Star of the show now. Now we're forgotten.
Oh, I know. So you don't have babies anymore. But okay, sorry. So what I was talking about with the nonprofit world, that was a really good question. So a lot of the skills that you use to fundraise are the same skills that you use to serve people in sales and really in any customer service industry. I noticed that when I was fundraising with a nonprofit, I had no problem, asking people to give me money because I cared so much. I believed so much in what I was raising money for. And I think in this work, it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of the same thing. We believe so much in the benefits of the products that we can share and in the business that we have that it's easy to tell people about it and it's easy to share it with people. But it does take a lot of the same skill set to do that and to be able to talk to people and serve them.
Absolutely. So your husband has how many years left, do you think, in the military? Do you know?
Golly, I think it's, let's see, he got in 2006, and so it's been 12 or 13 years, but so we have about 9 left.
Okay, so he will retire from.
That's our goal. Our goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us just a little bit about where you live in Okinawa and about kind of the community you're in. Like, just interesting probably to move to a different country. And are you on base?
Yeah.
And
Yes. So we've been really lucky. Living on base is just a really tight knit, small community. Everywhere you go, you run into somebody that you know, the commissary, the post office. It's just like a little small town, and we love it. So we are there are people who live off base and live out in town, and so they live really amongst, the local Japanese. But for the most part, I'm surrounded by Americans. My son does go to a Japanese preschool, so we're exposed to the culture through there. But in terms of, our community, it's mostly Americans living overseas.
got it.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess tell us a little bit about why you chose the company that we're with, and it's, how come this was the right fit for you.
So I initially, when I was looking for that protein powder that I knew I needed something to, use for breakfast that was quick and would take care of my body. But I also really wanted it to be really safe enough that I could share it with my son. We moms, we probably don't drink Diet Coke anymore, but I use Diet Coke as an analogy. Like, I might be willing to feed myself Diet Coke, but I certainly wouldn't give it to my kid. Like, we care more about our kids' bodies than our own sometimes. So I didn't want the protein that I chose to be like the Diet Coke of protein powders.
Right.
And actually, after I ordered, so I tried a couple other brands, and then I decided to give Shaklee a try. But after I ordered it, and because it takes so long for stuff to get here, I had like a 2-week wait. And after I ordered it, I was at the base. It's called a PX. It's kind of like the Target of our base. And I found another protein there that looked pretty much the same. It said it was organic, no artificial ingredients, anything like that. And I messaged Sarah and I said, I think I want to cancel my order. And she explained to me Shaklee's, ingredient philosophy about how, if there is a problem with an ingredient, they will take that product off the line. And most companies, if they even discover there's an issue with an ingredient, they're not going to sacrifice the profits,
right,
to take that product off the line. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. So I didn't cancel the order. And then lo and behold, a couple weeks later, the product that I had been looking at in the PX was recalled for contamination.
wow.
Yeah. So sorry, I hope you don't mind. This is real life. Tarrah, I'm gonna nurse the baby. Hold on 1 second. I'll turn it away real quick. So that was sort of a big.
Yeah, that is, and it was right on the shelf. So, it was. And if you would have got it, you would have started using it, and it would have been recalled. And yeah, that.
Yeah, and unless you're really keeping up with recalls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have given it to my son. And the other thing is like I said, all right, baby, I'm gonna put you down. You can go play. Like I said, I have a passion for environmental issues.
Right.
And when I found out about the line of cleaning products, that was just, I knew that when I found that clean line, like, it was love. We were gonna be with this company forever. Because I remember in college, I was an environmental policy major in college, and I remember thinking, yeah, everybody wants to live more in harmony with nature. Everybody wants to use environmentally safer products, but they're more expensive, they don't work, and they're hard to find.
Right.
And I was like, and if that's how I feel, and I am studying this and I care about this, what about people who don't have time to care about it?
Yeah.
Like, they're definitely not gonna use different products. And then I found our Get Clean line, and I realized it checked all of those boxes. It's cheaper, it works better, and it's safer. And like, I was like, everybody needs to know about this.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that's your passion. I can tell that. And, that is definitely one of my passions too, because that's how I was introduced to this company as well. I was looking for cleaners that were non-toxic as well. So for other reasons, our daughter had an autoimmune disorder, and I realized at that point that the things that we absorb into our skin only take a few seconds and can cause quite a bit of damage over a period of time, or just environmentally coming in contact with things, that it does make a difference. So yeah, one of my passions too, and I love the Get Clean line too.
Oh yeah.
And it's so inexpensive. It's such a good deal. Like, I love that part too, right?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. People think that I'm lying when I tell them how cheap it is
I
and
know.
that it lasts so long. I'm like,
It does too. You just can't. You can't get through that bottle of Basic H. You know.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hi, buddy. Aw. So, is there anything that you would say to maybe moms or to military families or just someone who has an entrepreneurial spirit that might be interested in checking out a business like this? And what advice would you give them about what we do?
I would say don't worry about the how. Just focus on, well, first of all, you want to look into the company. You want to make sure that it's a reputable company, it's a member of the Direct Sellers Association. You know, you want to, if you have somebody in your life who can look at the compensation plan and make sure that it's a legitimate one, because just like with any industry, there are people that are going to try to take advantage of you. So you want to make sure that you're become part of a good company. And then, like I said, definitely don't worry about the how. Just worry about the who and the what. Make sure that it's something that you're passionate about, because the how will come with training. It will come with the support of your team.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the objections that I get from people when they first start thinking about it is like, well, I'm not good at this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really, you don't need to be good at it to start. I wasn't either.
Right. No, everybody
Yeah,
grows, right? This is a growing business. It's people business. It's a growing business. And yeah, you don't need to know. I think that's great advice. Thank you for that, because I think people do tend to think that they need to know all the ingredients or where to find everything. And that's what the people who've gone before you are for, So
yeah.
good point. Good point. Well, Julie, thank you. And Leo, thank you so much for joining us. And if you guys even the slightest interest in becoming an entrepreneur, I encourage you to reach out to either myself or to Julie. And if you have any questions and want to schedule an interview or an appointment and look through the things that we have available to us that we can show you and answer your questions, I'd be happy to do it, and I Julie would as well. We'd like to go over like the benefits that are offered and the systems we use, how to create sales and what products that there are, and what options could be right for you. So I just appreciate, Julie, you taking the time from Japan to chat with me, and it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll see you in Vegas this year. I will see you. You guys are coming before Vegas or right in line with that?
Actually, we'll have been there for about a week.
Awesome.
But yeah, Leo's coming too.
Great, awesome. Well, then I will see both of you there. And again, I thank you so much for taking the time. And thank you for joining us on this episode of Tarrah TV. Thanks, everyone.